In this video, we will work on Details Screen and Order Now button. So in Details Screen, we need to show products details, and in Order Now button, we need to store this order data as an order and save it in somewhere in your application. So let's start with Details Screen. First, we need to load products details by the ID that we got from the navigation route here. And for that, we need to create a new function in the products provider. And that function takes the ID as a string and returning a product. So returning from our available products list with a condition where if there is a product here in this list has an ID equal to our ID that we sending it from the product screen here, then return these products. Now we can use this function here in this screen by creating a connection to our products provider. So let's create a provider and importing the products package and the provider package, and it should be down here to use the ID of this ID here, and we are setting listen to false because we won't listen to changes after we open this page. Now let's add a body to our scaffold, which will take a column, and the first widget in the children of this column is going to be a container with an image. Our containers is going to have a 250 for the height, and for the width is going to be the total.infinity to take all the screen, and the image is going to use our product here, which is one product by the way, because every product have a unique ID. So this is a unique image of this ID and giving this image a fit. Now we need to add the description for this product, so let's add some space by adding a size box with a height of 20 font size. Then let's add the price with a gray color. After that, let's add some space to add the description of this product. Let's run the app again. Nice. Now we got our details screen, and you can add more to this page, of course, based on your product's model or the design you got. But I think that's enough for this tutorial, so I don't waste your time. Now we need to manage our order button here, which is, by the way, a new kind of data that we need to manage, which is our orders. So let's practice once more to managing data with a provider, and let's add a new folder to our providers here and name it orders provider, and inside this folder I'm gonna to add a new Dart file and I'm gonna to call it orders. First things, of course, let's create an orders screen, which is extending a change notifier, and after that we need to define how orders item looks like. So let's add a new model for our orders item. Of course, it's in the same page, and feel free to separate these models as we did here before in the products provider. Each order item should have an ID and the total price and the order date or the order time, and of course a list of the card items to show later in the orders screen. Let me add the constructor of this model and telling about this package here. Great. Now in the orders class here, we need to add an empty list of orders. And for that, we need a getter and a setter for this list. So first, let's add the getter, which will return a copy of orders items by using the spread operator. And after that, we're gonna to add a setter for this function, which returning nothing. Now we need to pass data. Of the card items into one order item. So let's pass a list. So here we're gonna to use the name parameters and passing a list of card items. Of course, it needs to be required. And once more, the total price, and it needs to be required also. And here in this body, let's do some logic that adding a new object of order item to my orders list here. So here my orders list dot add, and here we should put our object or our value. Now we're adding an object and filling these details with the ID and total price and order time and the card item. For the ID, I'm going to use the datetime.now function and turning the time to string as a unique value for now. Of course, there is packages that you can use to generate a unique ID, but I don't want to waste your time for now. For the total price, we have it here, and for the order date, it's our order time, and for the card items, we're going to use these card items here. And never forget, you are changing data, so you need to notify listeners that there is a change happens on this list here. But one more thing, placing an order should clear our card items, so we need to call a function to clear card items after placing our order. So let's go to card provider here and let's define a new function that clear our items here and make it an empty once again, like this. And never forget to notify listeners with that change. Great. Now we can start using our order provider here, but first we need to provide this order provider in the main.dart screen with the other providers here. And by the way, you can add all your providers here in above the material app all the time. And that's okay. I'm doing this most of the time. So you can accessing it from anywhere in your application. And that is important if you are navigating to a new route. You have to put your providers here. Let's format this code and duplicate this and telling him that we need an orders object. Of course, you need to import the orders here, orders package. Now you can listen to orders from anywhere in your application. Now let's go to Order Now button in the card screen. And here in the onPressed function here, we will connect to our orders provider. Of course, telling him about these orders. And now we adding a function. So we're going to use an add order function, which needs two things, a card item and the total price. And that's okay because we have here a card which is going to take these items dot values to get only the values. And of course it's a list, so you have to make it a list with using toList function. And now we are passing our card items. And for the total price, we are going to use a card dot total price and first a semicolon to remove this error. And to make sure that nothing wrong is going to happen, here we're not listening to the data changing, so we have to make it listen to false because it's by default is a true. So we need to make it a false so you don't get errors with provider. Oh, by the way, if you want to reformat your code to look nicer, you can use it by choosing reformat code with a Dart FMT. I have set a shortcut for it and you can just right click in anywhere and reformat your code. Nice, it looks nicer now. Oh, one more thing. We need to clear our card items after we adding this order here. So using this card provider to call a function clear.card after adding this order. So let's run the application once more and let's add some things to our card and placing order. Too easy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Great, it's working. Now we need to create orders screen to see our orders. So let's take a break and see you in the next video.